Hi, my name is Vivien Wittstruck, and I am a junior at Freedom High School in California, the United States of America. This is my presentation for the International Youth Researchers Conference. This is a community project focused on increasing lung cancer awareness, addressing risk factors, vaping misconceptions, and prevention. The goal was to identify whether a digital intervention would prove to be an effective method to increase awareness of lung cancer risk factors and vaping dangers. Lung cancer is a major public health concern. It is the leading cause of cancer-related death worldwide, reaching around 1.8 million deaths in 2020, with the highest mortality rates in both men and women. In the United States, approximately 90% of lung cancer cases are caused by tobacco smoke, showing that prevention efforts targeting smoking could significantly reduce lung cancer rates. However, vaping has been a rising challenge. While the harms of conventional cigarette use have long been established, vaping, particularly among youth, has emerged as a socially normalized and fashionable alternative. However, growing evidence suggests that e-cigarettes are not without risk. Many vaping products contain harmful substances, including toxic cancer-associated chemicals, volatile organic compounds, metal traces, and nicotine, which pose long-term threats to lung health. The popularity of vaping, often marketed as a safer choice or fashionable accessory, presents a public health challenge and may reinforce patterns of inhalant usage among new generations. Despite advances in screening and treatment, late-stage diagnosis remains common. Screening may be initiated too late, especially when long-term addiction and lack of cessation support are not adequately addressed, and social trends like vaping are mistakenly viewed as harmless. There has been an absurd, persistent stigma surrounding lung cancer, largely rooted in the perception that it is self-inflicted, can lead to delays in seeking care, emotional isolation, and decreased investment for research and advocacy. Many patients report feeling blamed for their illness, which can discourage them from accessing support systems, sharing their story, or engaging in potentially life-saving screenings. Addressing these challenges require not only expanding access to early detection, but also countering addiction, misperceptions about inhalant habits like vaping, and reducing the stigma to improve outcomes. The primary goal of this project was to raise awareness about the major risk factors for lung cancer, particularly inhalant use, and to promote early detection through evidence-based screening methods like low-dose computed tomography. By educating participants on the dangers of e-cigarette use, as well as the benefits of early screening, this intervention aimed to encourage behavior change, support vaping cessation, and reduce stigma surrounding lung cancer, empowering individuals to take proactive steps towards advocating for lung health. Participants were recruited through a combination of targeted social media advertisements, direct messaging via text, and word of mouth. We aimed at reaching an audience of at least 30 participants, as this is considered the minimal amount for a study to have significant meaning by the central limit theorem's rule of 30. The survey was open to the public online, allowing geographically diverse participants within the U.S., with 46 responses collected. After excluding 3 invalid responses, which were not filled out as directed, 43 participants were included in the final analysis. The digital survey took place on Google Forms. The format of the intervention as an all-in-one survey was made to be easily accessible for participants. The questionnaire, consisting of 6 true or false questions, assessed understanding of lung cancer risk factors, perceptions of vaping, and awareness of preventative actions. The intervention was formatted as a pre-post test, where participants initially took the questionnaire to assess baseline knowledge. Participants were then introduced to informational slides on lung cancer risk factors, symptoms, treatment options, and common misconceptions, and the same questionnaire was administered as a post-test to measure changes in knowledge and attitudes. Additionally, open-ended narrative responses were collected post-intervention to capture participant insights, identify recurring themes, and assess the emotional impact of the program. Analysis of the survey results showed that participants demonstrated knowledge gains after the intervention. Per-question differences were summarized descriptively, focusing on directional changes. Across questions, an average of 4.83 participants improved from incorrect to correct per question, while only 0.5 regressed from correct to incorrect, for a net positive shift of 4.33. No question showed more regressions than improvements, underscoring consistent directional gains. Question 5 on the survey, which asked about lung cancer as the leading cause of cancer death, drove the largest impact with a delta of +9. To evaluate the effectiveness of the intervention, a paired two-tailed t-test was conducted, and the results were promising. The paired t-test yielded a p-value of 0.0104, which is statistically significant at alpha equals 0.05, indicating a meaningful improvement in participants' overall understanding after the intervention. These statistically significant results highlight the effectiveness of the intervention in correcting key misconceptions. Overall, this study demonstrated that a simple, cost-effective digital intervention can significantly improve knowledge of lung cancer risk factors, vaping dangers, and the importance of early detection, supporting the use of accessible, targeted educational programs to drive awareness and prevention behaviors. At the end of the intervention, a space was provided for participants to write any feedback or thoughts. From the collected responses, the most common feedback from participants was that the intervention was informative. However, further improvements could possibly include rephrasing the questions differently to be less ambiguous so that there is no confusion, as some participants got the answer wrong the second time when they originally had the correct answer. For the future, I would also like to implement this project as an in-person session. This would foster deeper engagement and allow for more interactive discussion with hands-on education and encourage open dialogue to ultimately strengthen the overall impact of the intervention. This model also has the potential to be scaled into schools, digital public health campaigns, and community outreach initiatives, expanding its reach and strengthening prevention efforts. Here are the primary references I used for this study. Thank you. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to email me. Once again, thank you for listening to my presentation.